Hello, I'm Trevor Emdon, and I'm going to tell you a story about something a friend once said to me that hit me right between the eyes. And it was about love, or rather, it was about my lack of love, or my absence of a love life at the time. See, I'd been through a few heartbreaks, to say the least, a couple of divorces, quite a lot of broken hearts in between, and I'd kind of decided that there were only two ways I could rationalize that. One was women were dangerous. They looked lovely on the whole, but get close to one and sooner or later she would break my heart. Women were dangerous. Or I just hadn't figured out relationships. And so what I did as a consequence was I decided that the best and safest thing that I could do was to live on my own. And I did that. I did it for quite a few periods when I didn't really feel I had a choice. But eventually, I deliberately chose to live a bachelor life. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't a hermit. I had friends. Some of them were girlfriends. But I didn't get close to anyone. And I wouldn't let anyone close. And what I did was I went on dating sites so that I could have some female company. And I met women. And from time to time I think, you're nice. I take a risk. I see you at least a second time. And more than once I was told, yeah, you're a really nice guy, but I've been hurt before. And I would feel quite indignant about that. Well, it wasn't me that hurt you. Why are you tarring all men with the same brush? Sometimes I might even have that conversation if I felt it was appropriate, but I'd certainly think it. Until one day I had to acknowledge that actually I was doing exactly the same in reverse. Keeping relationships at arm's length. And therefore, not letting love into my life. I just thought it was too dangerous. The pain of being broken-hearted was too much to risk again. And 5 years drifted by. And then I began to accept and realize that I didn't really want to spend the whole of the rest of my life alone. What was I going to do? So the day came when, over a coffee, I was talking to a friend, a male friend, about my dilemma. Now, I'm a trained psychiatric nurse and psychotherapist, and so was he. And so we had a kind of code of conduct, I suppose, that maybe other men friends wouldn't have. We could talk to each other very straight. And so he asked me a very direct question. He said, "Do you like yourself?" What? Do I like myself? And I went, I'm all right. I'm not perfect. I'm okay, I suppose. Got some faults. And then he said that thing that went bam, right between the eyes. 'Cause he said to me, well, that's a bit like you're some kind of dowdy old half-broken lampshade that's not been dusted off properly in some old junk store. And you want some woman to love you like you were a crystal chandelier. That's a bit arrogant, he said. Ooh. And I had to accept from that day forward that maybe it wasn't that women were dangerous and any of them would break my heart, and maybe it wasn't that I just didn't have a handle on relationships, because let's face it, there's no rule book about relationships as far as I know. A few people have tried, but there's no one size fits all. So it wasn't that. It was me. If I didn't like me enough, then I wasn't going to attract a woman or a relationship that was gorgeous. and fun and loving and full of laughter and life, like they should be, like the movies show you they are. Now, fortunately for me, I'm trained in psychotherapy. And once I opened that doorway into my own inner mind, I knew I could do something about it. I had the tools already. It's just that I'd never figured that out before. So what I do in situations like that is I imagine that I've got a client who's talking to me and saying, I'm afraid of relationships, I'm afraid to love again. And in that case, and I say, well, try this, try this, try this. Now, I have a way, I know a technique for neutralizing painful memories. So even if you've been in a relationship that was abusive or horrible in some way, and I'm really sorry if that happened to you, you can't eradicate the memories, but the past is the past. It's how you respond to those memories right now, in the moment, in the now, that causes you the pain and the fear of it happening again. And it's quite understandable, but there is a way to neutralize memories like that, so that you kind of go, well, hang on, that doesn't mean that every time I get into a relationship that's going to happen to me again. You see what I mean? So I did that with my painful memories and all the heartbreak memories that I had. Didn't take long. It's easy to do. But then there was the self-esteem stuff. Now, I thought I was okay. Okay-ish. I thought I was. But then I realized that actually I didn't really think that much of me. And if I didn't think I was a great catch, then nobody else was going to think I was a great catch either. That was going to come through. That energy would show up. And so I was a bit uncomfortable, but I dug in a bit, found those old negative beliefs, that some of them came from childhood, probably doesn't matter where they came from, and I blew them up in my mind, and I changed them for better ones, and I started to like myself. And within a few days, I started to feel good about who I am, and you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay being me. My body language changed. There was a jauntiness to my walk. I smiled more. And I realized that all this chasing and hunting and hoping and wishing and wondering why it never happened to me, why this true love thing wouldn't ever happen for me, the urgency fell away as well. I still knew I didn't want to be on my own for the rest of my life, but then I was kind of accepting that when love happens, it'll just happen. And sure enough, within a few months, I met my wonderful wife. This was December 2006. It was like July 2006 when I did the work on myself. For the next 4 or 5 months, life was fine. And then a series of events, coincidences, met somebody, a man actually, who was married to somebody who knew this person, and we corresponded about something else to begin with online, and then he introduced me and we exchanged emails, and December 2006 we met and fell immediately in love, and we've been happily married pretty much ever since. I proposed to her within days of meeting. I just knew she was the one, and here we are. It's a decade or so later now, having a lovely life, still on honeymoon. Thanks a lot. Happy ever after, fairy tale ending. So I wasn't just going to let that go, because I realized there's a lot of people who wish they could be in love again but are too afraid to. So I wrote it down because, as I said, I'm a trained psychotherapist, and I called it The Magic of Moving On. And I didn't just write a book. There is a book, but I also created 4 audio hypnosis audios so that you can go directly through the processes that I went through, including eradicating and neutralizing painful memories if you need to. So they're all there, and you can do it in a relaxed, easy state. And the book will explain how it all works and what you can do, and then you can just let love into your life and just picture yourself holding hands with someone really wonderful, someone who looks into your eyes and you look into theirs and you connect and you feel that smile that just comes from the inside, and you know that's love, and you feel safe in love. That's the point. Now, if you'd like to know more about the magic of moving on and how you can download it today, the whole program, then just click the link. There'll be a link somewhere below or next to this video, and you can find all the details there. I hope that helps. See you soon.